Off blast. Did I do that right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, folks. Well,
Close
welcome to
enough.
another wonderful episode of NeviCast. This is your boy, fearless Billy Nuwanda, who goes in and gets all the coffee beans, gets all the ladies, and then somehow finds some time for a sensible dinner with some good crusty tea.
Because apparently Ellie's hungies.
Of course, like right next to me is none other than Jarrod. Say hi, Jarrod.
What's up, people? It's Jarrod. I have nothing else to say.
And of course, next to him is the delivery man.
The delivery man, Adan. How are you, people?
And how are the people of the people, and how are the people?
That's right.
Just
Because I'm not repeating myself, not repeating myself.
Yeah, for like everybody who listened to last week's podcast, there was a lot of repeating last week. Then, of course, next to our delivery man is the master of the board games, Rum.
What's up? Let's get this going.
And, of course, next to Rum is Hungies.
Ellie, yay! Hey, it's your boy, Skinny Penis.
Oh, good lord. We're already
Under
cranking.
the table is
Kenzie.
Kenzie.
The best.
A new member.
The
Yes.
best member.
Yes,
Wait.
yeah. We have all the animals
She's
Yes.
not
checking
very.
us out too.
She's not very vocal though.
No.
Yeah.
Not like
not as
Wolfie.
vocal as Wolfie.
Yeah, that's right.
Just be walking around like having a serious conversation and meow.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to get off the table. I want to speak too.
Exactly. So yeah, man, let's crank it on with some gaming talk. Which of course, Mass Effect Andromeda is out, and we're gonna kind of turn over to Jarrod real quick. What's some initial thoughts on that? You've been playing the game for a few days.
Yeah, I have. It's great. It's a really good game. If you're a fan of the series, that's kind of the caveat there. If I'm sure you've seen a lot of the drama that has been going on about facial animations and etc. and so on. And really, it seems like the game was finished, but they just never sent the master copy over to Q&A or QC or whatever to just make sure that everything was running right. Because there's a lot of jank, and day one patch still couldn't fix all the jank. So, I mean, if you're a fan of the series, there's a lot for you to like, and I'm still currently enjoying it. They've done a lot of good things with this game and a lot of things that kind of may be questionable. But I think a lot of the hate, for the most part, is undeserved. Like, one thing I saw, people were saying, oh, the story is weak and blah, blah. It's like, well, this game has taken more of a Star Trek approach. It's not like there's this giant shadow of genocide hanging over you like in the first three games. It's more, we're in this new galaxy, we're trying to set up outposts, create a new home for everybody, and that sort of thing. So the tone, just based on that, is way more lighthearted than the original trilogy.
I actually hung out with a friend the other night who is a huge Mass Effect fan, and I told her, she was like, oh yeah, I got the new Mass Effect game. I was like, oh, I heard it kind of sucked, and she was just like, no, I really enjoy it. Why would you say that? And I felt really bad. Like, for saying,
How
oh
would you
yeah,
say
man,
that to my
that
face?
game sucked. And she was just like, no, I'm really enjoying it.
You hater.
No, but the best thing about the game by far is combat. It's way more fun. It's way faster than it was in 3, and I thought 3 was a very good step up. The jump jets and stuff really makes things a lot more interesting. Not to mention there's a lot more new combat abilities that just kind of make it more fun to just blow things up. So, I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but yeah, it definitely has its issues. I mean, would I recommend you go out and buy it? If you're a fan of the series, I keep going back and using that phrase. If you're a fan of the series, go out and buy it. If you're not, if you think it's, a decent game, or rather a decent series, maybe wait till it goes on sale. But either way, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It's not the, 0 out of 10 and the 2.8s that Metacritic would have you believe, so that's
Yeah,
alright.
Out of curiosity, like something that like both me and Jason have been wondering about, because shock and horror, like both me and Jason have never really finished. Like Jason, you've never really played the trilogy before, have
I
you?
have played a little bit of the first game, got stuck on a planet and couldn't get off, so I just stopped playing it.
And I'm still on pretty much the very beginning of the game. I haven't even really set sail yet, so to speak.
How have you guys not finished the trilogy? It's one of the greatest things in gaming
I think I
ever.
bought it on
It's
Steam
not my
on
type of
sale
game,
and
bro.
just never got around
I'm
to
not
it.
into shooters. So.
But let me ask you this, because one of the things that both me and Jason have been wondering about is that Is Andromeda heavily tied to story-wise to the original trilogy, where a lot of stuff makes more sense if you've played Mass Effect 1 through 3?
Doesn't matter. I have to play it from the beginning.
Well, I know you've got to play it all the way
Right.
through. But is it something to where folks who haven't necessarily touched the original trilogy could just jump right into and be alright? Or is it one of those where you're really better off playing the first 3?
Well, I can answer both of those. Basically, you're right on both accounts. It is a great jumping off point. You don't have to have any prior knowledge of the series. It helps, but you don't have to. I think mostly it'll just help you as far as knowing who the races are, because that's the one thing that's kind of assumed. You know what the Krogan are, you know what the Asari are, and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's a good jumping off point. If you never played a Mass Effect game, this would be a good place to start. That's why it's so disappointing that the game has the issues that it has, because it turns new people off from playing it. But that aside, I still think you should go back and play 1 through 3, because, well, it's awesome. I mean, you make a character and take them through 3 games. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Never before have you been able to do that. I was hoping they do that with Dragon Age, but no.
Dot hack.
But you don't actually make your character in
Yes.
Dot Hack. You're following a character.
I have an important question. Can you fuck an alien?
Many.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You can also
She's
let
like, "I'm
aliens
down."
fuck you. Yeah, you can let aliens
That's
fuck
the most
you.
important question.
Yeah.
If you can
Oh,
fuck
yes.
the things.
You
that
can
you're-
have all your
Yeah.
Captain Kirk dreams go wild.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Mass Effect
yeah.
lives again.
Oh, yes.
Back on Fox, they called it the sex box.
It's my sex box, and her name is Sony. But yeah, like, well, speaking of, like, let's continue this RPG talk for a little bit, because, like, our main gaming discussion for tonight actually involves one of the other big RPG series, Final Fantasy. And again, we're gonna kind of let Jarrod take the lead on this.
Eh?
The question.
Man, I'm in the spotlight this week.
Yeah, you are.
There
Jump
he
in.
is.
There he is. He is beauty.
Mr.
He is grace.
Universe.
Alright, so this happened at work a few days ago. I have a coworker who's not really big into games. And so he has a PS4, and he was asking me, would Final Fantasy 15 be a good game to buy? And I was like, well, for you, no. No, it would not. Because, you know, he's the kind of guy that really just plays shooters. He plays Call of Duty. He's gotten into Fallout 4, so there is some RPG legway in there.
Oh, he has some hope.
He has some hope. But for the most part, I was like, 15 would not be a good place for you to start. And so he asked me, then what would be a good one then? And I was like, oh my god. There's the question right there. Like, for someone that's new to the series and hadn't really played a lot of RPGs, what would be the first Final Fantasy you could recommend to them? And I sat there for like 10 minutes, and I was like, man, what about this one? What about that one? So I want to just go around and kind of get everybody's opinion on which one you think. You had your hand raised there, Rum, so I'd go with you first.
My first one I ever played was 8, though.
That was your first one?
That was the first one I ever played, yes.
So if you had a friend that never played a Final Fantasy game, would you recommend them start at 8?
It's my favorite. So.
It is? Okay. Ellie?
I honestly would say start with 15 if you like RPGs. Like, I'm not even like the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I've played 7, 8, 9, 10, and the first one on a calculator back in the day. Yeah, somebody got it on their calculator at school. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, I would actually say, like, I'm not really a huge fan of it, but I love 15. It's a lot of fun, and you, like, oh my god, I haven't even finished the game yet. I have, like, 60 hours, and I'm only on, like, chapter 7.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so fun, and, like, the characters are fun. Like, if you like RPGs, I would say go with that one if you're
And
new to the
their
series.
episode stuff's coming out this week. The
Oh,
first
shit.
episode, Gladiolus, is coming out.
Yeah, but the problem is that this guy is very much like I said, he's a COD player.
Oh, yeah,
He's
if
very meat and
you're-
potatoes kind of guy. He wouldn't like the 4
Of course.
boy
I
band guys
meant,
driving
like,
around in their car.
Maybe
so.
he should play Tactics then.
Yeah.
But if you like RPGs and you want to get into Final Fantasy, I would really recommend 15.
You think so? 15?
Yeah, I think so. Because, again, I don't really give a shit about Final Fantasy.
It's
to
so
be
pretty.
honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
so
I've never
pretty.
been. I never had I was a Nintendo 64 kid back in the day,
mhm.
so I didn't grow up with it. So I never really got into it. But no, I love 15. I would highly recommend if you like RPGs. For someone like that, though, I would say no. I don't know which one they would even, if they would like any of them at all.
Well,
But
more-
you
it's more
played 7 and 8
action-based.
and stuff, so
It's more action-based than the
Oh, yeah,
previous
yeah,
ones, so
definitely.
he'd probably be more into that than he would the others.
but you played some of the old, like you said, you played
Yeah.
7, 8, and 9
I
and
actually
stuff like that.
really like 9. That was probably my favorite one.
So you think you would recommend that one?
Yeah, probably.
So 8 and then 9.
Yeah.
Dan, any input here?
Well, I have not played any RPGs since Earthbound,
Yeah.
And that was a good one.
and that's what I would recommend. If,
Yeah.
yes.
If you're trying to figure out what kind of Final Fantasy to play Earthbound.
Yeah.
It's not too far. It's not really.
It's the best Final Fantasy.
It's the best Final Fantasy. So I would not recommend like a Final Fantasy because I haven't played any of them. But as far as RPGs, the only one that I really got into was Earthbound.
And that was a good game. Too.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good game.
So was the third one. Mother 3.
Mother
Yes,
3.
That
Mother
one's really
3.
good.
Yes.
I saw the first. Sorry to go a little off topic, but I was interested to see how Mother 1 was,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a little creepy because Earthbound's already kind of creepy.
It is.
You know, it's a little creepy, and that one was like ooh, like all the graphics and shit like that. Like it's a little.
Yeah,
creepy.
whenever I first saw Undertale, I immediately thought of Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty much a direct inspiration for Undertale. But yeah, like speaking of like on the Final Fantasy bit, like if I was gonna have to recommend a Final Fantasy, I would actually go with 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think 6 strikes the best balance between the sort of technological science aspects of Final Fantasy with the more medieval aspects.
And the steampunk as well.
And the steampunk, and the fact that it probably has like the best villain in the whole series.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
With protecting spoilers, but yeah, 15's comes pretty damn close, which I don't want to spoil because of Jason, having
I
not
don't like spoilers.
finished the game yet.
Jesus dies.
Even though he's like
Dumbledore
right
dies
at
too.
the end of where he could probably beat the game in a day.
Yeah, I'm like level 92.
Everyone dies in the end.
God.
Yeah, I'm on
But
chapter
I haven't
8.
played it in like
I
2
just,
months.
Yeah, same. I just got to, what was the town where you take the boat to get to it? I forget the name.
I can't remember the name.
But yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Beautiful city, by the way. They approached me around the boat. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that was breathtaking. But that's where I stopped. But
Yeah.
I'm like 60 hours in. I'm like 55 or something like that. But yeah, I took a break for 2
I got
months
to there, went back in time, like where you go to the
to
mainland,
go back to the map. Yeah.
and then finished every side quest
Yes.
on the mainland, and then went back there and just have not played it since.
Yeah. See, so you now have a mission tomorrow. Finish Final Fantasy 15.
'Cause apparently, from what I
D&D's
heard,
tomorrow night.
at that point you can do it all in a day, right? It just
Yeah,
go-
like
it just
you
goes
can
and
pretty
goes
much
and goes.
you can pretty much do D&D and then come back home and just finish Final
We're
Fantasy.
playing D&D for 8 hours.
Woo!
It's okay. It's an endurance run.
No, I can't do it.
Speedrun.
I gotta work Monday morning, so
Crazy.
Ah.
Then for my
next weekend.
well thought out and overanalyzed recommendation, I would have to go with Final Fantasy X. And that's hard for me to say because I hate Final Fantasy X. I fucking
10 is a
hate it,
great game.
Hate it. But when I'm thinking of my audience, the guy that's never played a Final Fantasy game before, the thing that I had to think about was, one, graphics. You want to say 7 is good because everybody thinks 7's the greatest of all time, but it doesn't hold up to today's standards.
No, it doesn't.
No.
If you want to go just based on graphics, you'd go 8 or 9 because they look more with what you'd
loved 8.
expect. But then you look at 10, it's linear, so it does a lot of hand holding. So, if you're new to RPGs, you won't get stuck. Because, older games, you get those moments where it's like, all right, go talk to this guy. And you're like, well, where the fuck is he?
So many
And you have to go
hours
talk to
in
all
my
the
youth
NPCs
wasted.
in town. And there's
Yep.
none of that in 10. So I think that's good. Not to mention 10 was the first game to have full voice acting. Another modern day thing that we've seen from here on. So that...
Y'all are giving it too much. It was more like ha ha ha. Like it's awful. I hate it.
Yeah. So the sphere grid was pretty easy to understand, and you feel like you have some customization there. And then,
It's customization. You just
Yeah,
give
no,
everybody
customization.
everything.
but yeah, really, you can. But and to round it all off, the fact that 10 is on every system. It's on PS3, it's on PS4,
That
it's
is
on
true.
Xbox, it's on Xbox One, so it'd be easy to
They had
get.
everything on Steam too, right?
I don't know if it's on PC or not.
They released a lot of the Final Fantasies on Steam.
Did
Plus, if you want to play like the super old ones, you can just fucking download it on your phone. I did that with 2.
Yeah,
Final
I have
Fantasy
4
2.
on my phone.
Yeah,
right
because
now.
like pretty much all the old Final Fantasies are like freely or easily available on Android
Yep.
and iOS markets. So
Yeah, so I'd have to go with 10, even though, like I said, I don't like 10.
I mean,
When 9 and 10 came out really close together,
Yeah.
and I loved 9, but it got overshadowed by 10. I thought 9 was a return to what makes Final Fantasy Final Fantasy.
It is.
Airships, open world maps, still turn-based combat, I mean, and just the characters themselves. You know, you have cat people and like all this other stuff. You know, it's very, very more fantasy. Because 7 and 8 were all futuristic, and just you're having subway trains and mechs and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, it kind of lost me for those 2 games.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd always pick 9 over 10 any day.
The thing, like, normally, with 9 and 10, like 9, I'm kind of like, I would prefer 9, but I do think 10 is like, to me, the pinnacle of the active time battle system.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that everything was set up. Like, like the fact that you would, for the first time, you're actually able to see, okay, these are who is attacking next, which allowed a little bit more strategy into everything that you did. I mean, it was just a wonderful, nice little mix and combination. 9 had the heart, but I think 10 had the
guts
to it. And I think, that would be my second choice. Like, if I couldn't recommend 6, I would recommend 10. The only reason why 6 gets the knock ahead of 10 is because 10 is kind of like the ultra proto JRPG in the modern era. Because, like, from 10, that sprung all of those super modern, like, tropey JRPGs that, like, ended up bogging down the market so much to where a lot of Western gamers turned to Elder Scrolls
I see what
and
you're saying. Yeah.
stuff like that. And, like, the JRPG market has just now started to recover from that. Mainly thanks to Atlas and Square Enix kind of finally riding the ship.
Nippon Ichi as well.
Yeah.
Disgaea.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
This guy
with
was
Disgaea.
huge. It was huge back then.
That was a great game.
So that's why I recommend 10, because like you said, it really did start the new era of JRPGs, so to say. And for someone like him that's never really played an RPG, like I said, Fallout 4 is the only RPG he's played. So for him, I think 10 would probably be the way to go.
Go right in the middle and haven't played Borderlands, so
Yeah, that'll work. Exactly. That is true, because that's best of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like looking at the other ones, like, you can't recommend 12 because it put him to sleep. Because 12 is basically an offline MMO.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the best way to describe that.
It is. It's an offline
I played
MMO.
a little bit of 12 and I was like, this is kind of fucking
I
boring.
enjoyed 12, but I was coming off of WoW at that point.
Yeah.
So that's why I was
Like,
able to
weaning
enjoy
yourself
12.
off of
WoW?
Seriously, I was weaning myself off WoW with Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, like, for me, like, 12 is my personal favorite Final Fantasy. Mainly because it's, like, comes from Matsuno, who did, like, a lot of the Tactics Ogre series, did Final Fantasy Tactics. The World of Ivalice is always my favorite. But I will admit, like, I could sit there with the right gamut controls and whatnot. I could pretty much play the game on the dual sticks, and that's all I need to do.
So you excited for the remake that's coming out?
Fuck yes!
It's a lot of fun. I played it back in the day.
That being said, I don't think I'm going to be able to splooge for that special edition. Man, like, I sat there and, like, it's like, Square Enix is coming out with a special edition. Oh, here, let me click and see this. $250 for, like...
Ooh.
Yeah, the main thing you're getting is, like, basically a set of, like, mini judge busts. And don't get me wrong, I love the judge designs in Final Fantasy 12. I don't know if I want to pay $250 for judge designs.
Right.
Though.
Especially for a game that if you have a PS2, I can get it for you for free.
Yeah.
Because that's how I played it. I played it back when it first came out, the Zodiac job system. There was this lovely thing that the internet community was doing called undubs. And basically they had ripped the Japanese audio out of the Japanese copy and put it into the English copy. Well, the Zodiac job system was dual audio. They just never came out in the US. So I played it on PS2. It was a lot of fun. The only thing I would say, anybody that's going to play it, choose carefully. There's no respecs. Whatever job choices you make, whatever license board choices you make, they are permanent. Wow. So do your research before you get into it. I would highly recommend it.
Or do like Hobbs usually does and just start all over
again. I was like, didn't mean to make him a warrior. I guess I'm going to restart. Oh,
but I'm not happy with the way she looks. I'm going to start all over again.
She doesn't have the mole in the right area, so no, respect.
I can't say anything.
With Skyrim, I've played that game's beginning parts so many times.
Like I said, I can't say anything. I've remade my character in Andromeda 3 times already. So
I can believe it.
Because it was funny, I made my first character the night that it got released because I bought it digitally. And I make my first character, go into the opening cutscene, and I'm like, nope, he has a turkey neck. Restart.
Kind of like an old dog when they start getting that, like vagina
Because you
your
know how like your neck is supposed to go back and then down. His was just like this.
Oh,
It was like that. I was like,
Poor
no.
little guy.
Yeah, so I had to restart. So I understand. I definitely understand.
Well, of course, then there was me. Like, Jason was here for this. Like, so Jason's like, dude, like, you got Oblivion now for the first time. You should play it. Like, I'll show you a couple things. So we go to the character creation mode, and I immediately am just like, okay, it's time to fuck this character up.
He made the ugliest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life.
And then, of course, I made sure to name my character Trogdor.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the Burninator.
Yep.
I heard he was a man.
Kids these
Or was he a
days will
dragon
never
man?
know how fucking great
Or was he just a
Homestar
dragon?
Was.
I don't know.
But his name was Trogdor!
The Burninator.
Oh, good stuff.
And the Trogdor comes out in the night!
Alright, we might have to stop. We might have to start paying.
Yeah, we're going to
Money
start
to-
paying like Homestar
Homestar
Runner.
Oh, yeah.
I'd gladly pay money to
No, I
Homestar
wouldn't.
Runner, though. I mean, they provided me with so many years of entertainment.
They should pay us.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
We're bringing them relevancy again. That's why.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, Lord, yeah.
it's like they'll make a 10-year comeback just like Lasagna Cat just did a
Yeah.
little while ago.
We should have a new segment, guys. We'll call it Member Berries Moments. Like, remember that?
Made you think.
You know, just like that one time I did blah, 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 blah.
Oh lord.
You're always doing that.
It's like, hey, guys,
Yeah,
remember
we
Chewbacca?
really-
Yeah, that was cool. It's like, hey guys, remember the '80s? That was some fun times right there, guys.
No.
Woo.
It's literally Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Remember the
pretty much.
80s? These things.
These things used to exist.
Don't
These
you
things
Yeah.
told me you were drowning.
That is
Oh,
Robot
good
Chicken.
lord.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, we should probably wrap this part up.
Segue to the next.
Segway.
Which now it's time for a dance corner!
Not repeating this time.
No.
Alright, so yeah, it's now time for a Don's Corner, where our delivery man will once again go in depth into a series that only a couple of us have probably watched. And Don, though, is going to be continuing with Diabolik Lovers. Last week he talked a little bit more in depth about episode 1, about, how the main character was kind of a blank slate, which allowed, the viewer to focus more on the male psychology. And now we're going to be kind of going into episode 2. So at this point, we're going to take it away for Don.
Yes. So, what I want to say is that the supposed main character, her name is Yui Komori, or Komori, like Japanese pronunciation. Anybody?
Komori.
Komori. Okay.
Komori!
Yui Komori. And so I looked it up, and so Yui actually means reflection, or superior reflection. It also can mean the precious one. Komori means nursemaid or babysitter. And I don't think that's an accident, because she serves as the nursemaid, babysitter of the male characters later on in the show. So I will continue with the second episode, and I will try to be as succinct as possible.
Succinct.
Yes. I am throwing out the big words this time around, and I will try to point out the 4 scenes that I think are the most relevant in this second episode to reinforce my arguments from the previous episode, from the first episode. So the first scene, she goes unconscious for some reason that we don't exactly know. We just see one of the vampires place a hand on her face, and then black, and then that's when the first episode ends. So the second episode starts herself in a bed. So I think that would reinforce this idea that she represents something that is not physical, meaning that she is either part of the psychology or part of a dream, part of something that is not in this reality for the rest of the characters. She is later on visited by the vampires, and we see the first interaction with one of them, who calls himself yours truly. So he refers to himself as yours truly. And for anyone of that has studied psychology, or that would think about what does that mean when a person says yours truly to someone else, it's avoiding to say I. So I am telling you this. You're instead saying yours truly, which is separating yourself from who you are, which is already letting you know that this person has some issues.
You know, I've never really thought about it that way, because I took a couple of psychology classes in high school and college, and sorry, like, the yours truly, I never really thought, like, this is gonna, like, make me think in a totally different way about, like, yeah, you are separating yourself when you, like, using, sorry, like, I thought that was
Go ahead,
neat.
go ahead, yes,
no,
yes.
It's kind of neat, like, that is, I never thought about it that way before, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and one thing that I learned is that whenever you're talking to someone, if you want to basically make your point better, it's best to use the I perspective instead of the you perspective. Like, if you're talking to someone, say, you know how whenever you do this and it makes you feel like that, and you know, most people will hear that and like, no, I don't feel that way. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it's better to just say, you know, I, whereas then, you know, whenever I do this and I feel that, so people can get a better sense of who you are. So yeah, I think using yours truly as a way to separate yourself is pretty interesting. But to what end? But I guess you're getting there.
I am getting there. Yes. Hey.
Bazinga!
That's right.
I hate that show.
That show's great.
Zimbabwe.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, Adan.
yes. So, she is in bed. So we already established that there's some sort of like extraordinary situation, like outside of reality. So when she wakes up, she's visited by three vampires, and we already established from the previous episode that vampires has already a meaning behind it. So the vampire says, you will go to school at night. And we already established from the previous episode that night means moon, means darkness, means mother. So again, that's the reinforcing this idea that we're talking about the mother being a very important factor in the show. She is told that she will go to school at night, and then she has this dialogue with another vampire, another one of these vampires, and she says, well, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he says, you're stupid, you have to do what we say, which is this, I would argue, like the male psychology, this male pathology trying to reason with the feminine. And so the male psychology will always say, no, you obey me. Like, I will do whatever I want with you because that's what I want. And so then she says, but you told me that if I leave, I will die. So I think that is a very interesting dialogue, because why is it that she dies if she leaves? So in my opinion, if you eliminate the feminine from the masculine psychology, you go insane. Like that, you die inside, and that's the issue. I mean, that's why they're vampires, right? They're undead. So she's going inside the house, which represents a psyche, and so she's trying to shake them up from their issues. So the second season, they go to school. I mean, the second scene. I'm sorry. They go to school, and so the vampire who calls himself, or who refers himself as yours truly, and I thought that this is pretty funny, orders her to cook food for him.
Make me a sandwich.
Yes, make me a sandwich.
Woman.
Yeah, exactly. In school, and so we can interpret, you know, whatever we want with that. And so after she goes along with it, and she cooks for him, and he eats, then he goes ahead and bites her for the first time, and we already talked about what that means. So we have that first bite from the vampire, and so what I think is interesting is that at the end of that scene, the lights go off, and I think that what lights going off from the kitchen, because after
means dinner's done.
yes, no, that's what it is. Dinner is done because he has already had his fill with her, and she passes out. So lights go off, and then you go to the third scene, which I think is the most important, where she wakes up and he's waiting for her to wake up, which is another way of saying, like, the feminine aspect.
There's a lot of like controlling in here.
It
Like,
Yes.
seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, he you know, shuts off the lights as a symbol of like, okay, you're done. Shows up when she's waking up, like, all right, it's time to get up now. I'm here.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And so it's this reappearance of the feminine psychology trying to go into the male psychology. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so
Wasn't
the,
it originally a visual novel, though?
Was it?
Yeah, like for those who don't know, like a tiny bit of the backstory of Diabolik Lovers is that it started off as a visual novel series that later got expanded, of course, into the anime. So, yeah, kind of a little bit of a snap. You guys should definitely check it out. But yeah, like it is kind of interesting, like, as you know, the thing with vampires in general is that, you know, there's two schools of vampires that have come up in popular culture. There's the ones where they're supposed to be just gigantic badasses, like the Nosferatu kind of model, so to speak.
Nosferatu.
And of course, you know, then there's like the seduction type of vampires, which is what a lot of the, you know, like Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice style stuff. And that's kind of where a lot of like what Diabolik Lovers is kind of pulling more from. So it's interesting to see, you know, like kind of like the conflict between the female point of view and psyche versus, you know, the male point of view. Because, like, you know, with the male point of view, it's all about seduction. It's about trying to get that score, to score the biggest cloud, you know, so to speak.
well, there's no seduction. There's only force in this show.
Yeah, I mean,
She wakes up and she tells him, "Oh, so you're awake now. So I'm going to do whatever I want with you. Like, please, you have to understand. You're at my mercy." So she grabs her and she throws her into a pool. Like, and if you're trying to make sense of any story, like, that is completely random. Like, why would you throw someone into a pool? Just
Oh, it's all about control.
yeah.
And so I think that, again, water, female symbol, you know, a body of water. And why I say that that's the most important scene is because it is precisely when he throws her into this pool that he has a flashback of something that happened to him when he was a child. And we assume that he's like 9 or 10 years old. And that is interesting because if you are a full vampire, which is what we established before, vampires are not supposed to get older.
Right.
So
locked in at their age.
why is that? And again, like, it's about the male psychology. And so we see him, like yours truly character, reaching out for who we know or who we assume is his mother, because it's an older woman, and he's reaching out from a lake. And so he's drowning in the same way that the female character, Yui, is drowning because she doesn't know how to swim. And when he's having this flashback of himself drowning in a lake, and we see his body being taken over by the water, again, the mother, we hear a voice of Yui, like just a voice, saying, "Help me," which is very indicative. For some reason, like, he jumps in to her and saves her, but he can't help himself, and he bites her again. Like, he takes her blood, and we already know what that means. Again, he rescues her, and she, is coughing because she almost drowned and blah, blah, blah. And she asks him to please stop, to make it stop. And so again, like, let's think about what that means from what we've said before. She is rescued, and so she is saved, and then she goes to, we only see like her walking to the room where she found the diary of her father that we mentioned before. But what is interesting, and this is the last scene, the diary is blank. We don't see like anything from the diary. So this is the second episode. So what I argue is that the female character is in the house, she's in the psyche, and the diary is blank. So it's like a reset. So it's this idea of the the feminine going into the male psyche and trying to heal them, so they're starting over. So it's blank. And that's how I will end this episode.
I do want to say, knowing now that is a visual novel, I assume this was targeted towards women. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is definitely targeted towards women.
Visual novel was very telling. That was very telling about
visual
it.
novels can either be for men or women, and like knowing that, like, okay, it's a single girl with a bunch of vampire
not really
dudes.
much of a personality.
Yeah, with a bunch of vampire dudes. That, it's obviously for women, but all of the symbolism does make sense, because with things targeted towards women, it's more about emotion and the psychology of it. Like, if you make something pandering towards men, it's more just like blatant.
Yeah.
And the sexuality and everything, usually it's all about sex. With women, no, this is like, that makes a lot more sense now to me, that it's much more deeper, because that's what, if we're gonna pay money, for visual novels and stuff like this, like, it's
like that one you had me get Halloween last year.
Which one?
Extra Life.
Extra Life.
Oh yeah, Extra Life. But that one was funny. That one was
spoopy.
not. Yeah, the spoopy. That was a Disillusions manga horror. You can find it on Steam for $1. It's like 30 minutes. Please buy it.
I remember that.
The creator, like, him and his girlfriend made it for fun in their attic. Like, buy it. Anyways, go back to Diabolik Lovers. But like with visual novels in general, visual novels are usually like especially like, okay, well, mainly otome, that's its own subgenre, like for women, is otome games, and it deals a lot more with like the psychology of everything. I'm not saying that it's not a deep storyline, of course not. Like, no, all the symbolism Adan has talked about is indeed correct, but it makes more, it is, I think it's pandering towards more the female psyche than the male psyche, I would say.
Yeah, I agree, and this is part of the light novel boom that happened over the past couple of years, but there have been two types. There have been, like you said, the otome type that's targeted towards women, and there have been the power fantasy type, which have had a few more examples come out, and they've always been these 13-episode series like Asterisk War, or Mahoka Koko no Retose, which is the irregular Magic High School, which is basically the main character is the strongest character in existence, and he has a harem.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and there are quite a few that have been like
and
that
see,
as well.
with women, it still plays into like that power fantasy.
Yeah.
Like all the boys like
All the boys
me.
like me.
All the boys love
Yes.
me. But it's a little like I wouldn't say. Okay, I'm not trying to trash things that are
Yeah,
targeted
you are.
towards men. I'm not trying. No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that at all. It's just it's different. But with
It
women, it's more. Yeah, it's different because it's more about like emotions. Like they're more about like like one of like the biggest things in like otome games and shit like that. It's like, oh my god, we made an emotional connection. That's like, yes, you know, like yeah, I fucking did it in this game, or you know, or in this anime, you know, it's like, oh, they had an emotional connection. That's fucking awesome. As like more popular like visual novels or something targeted towards men, it's like we had sex, I boned, you know,
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
more over
My
the top
favorite
like
line,
that.
my favorite line ever from a hentai game was, "She's cuter than a cat's anus."
Good
My
lord.
favorite line, no, dude, my favorite line is how can you say you love her if you can't eat her poop?
Wow.
I'm still waiting for the Hotful Boyfriend anime to come out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Alright.
Or
So
what about what was that game? God dang it, Honey Pop.
Oh Lord. But going back to what Adan, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I did not repeat myself throughout the entire presentation.
Yay!
Achievement unlocked.
Thank you. Achievement unlocked. Yes.
Alright, yeah. At this point, let's kind of move, like, since we've been already, like, rapidly discussing dank animus, let's talk some dank animus stuff. And I kind of want to open up with a little bit of a return to a story I talked about a few podcasts ago, where,
So now Chris is repeating himself.
No.
Ooh.
well, the virtues of the virtues and the virtuality was this very virtuous
Synergy.
synergy. Yes. Like, if you guys remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about how Avex Pictures, well, part of the arm of Avex Group in general, had pulled a lot of their ANIuTa content from being purchased from PlayAsia and CD Japan. Which I was kind of already, my main deal was like, that's an incredibly stupid move. Well, now we're kind of starting to see a little bit of the reasoning for why they were doing that. They announced this week that Avex Pictures and a lot of other different consortium of music labels have all united to create a anime music streaming service. It is going to be called ANIuTa. It's going to be available for the equivalent of like $6 a month.
Will it be like available worldwide or
Probably not.
Not immediately, but they have already announced that they do plan on making it a global thing.
Yeah, they want that Spotify money.
Basically.
Yeah.
But like they've got over 30 labels. I mean, we're talking like, Love Live, K-On, Macross,
Do they have Johnny's in there?
let's see, which label is Johnny's under? I mean, is it just like, because
I don't know who they license their music out to, but it's a boy band talent agency.
Well, yeah, I know who Johnny's is, but like, I'm kind of wondering, I just can't remember if like they have their own set label, because like, if you remember, Exile has their own set label.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like the 48 groups and the 46 groups, they all license out to different stuff,
Right.
which is why like you can't get AKB48 right now on YouTube, but you can do like NMB48 and so on and so forth. But like right now they've got it's Avex Pictures, Katakawa, Sunrise Music Publishing, Frontier Works, and Lantis. So basically, you've got like a lot of the really big ANIuTa labels. They've also managed to snag NBC Universal Entertainment for Japan. Warner Brothers is even jumping in.
I'm surprised about that.
And VAP as well.
Wow.
So, like, you're talking a lot of really good J music right off the bat. And with the fact that it's going to be like, of course, it's Glorious Nihon. They always got to start in Japan, then expand elsewhere.
Of course.
If they even do that.
No, when they talked about the service, they did say that they want to make it a global thing.
I mean, if it's Warner Brothers that's in it, they have to do it.
Along with NBC Universal. I mean, just those two labels being involved in it alone means they actually want to try to
That's right.
outreach. The only label that I've seen really be stubborn in Japan about trying to put their music out has been Sony Japan. They are very notoriously stubborn, and very few artists, with the exception of like Hikaru Utada, usually most Sony Japan artists never get to put out their stuff in the States because they're so butt tight about control. So, I mean, this actually could be a good thing. I mean, like, I do feel sorry for those who are, like, the collectors of the CD product.
Yeah, want physical copies.
But, I mean, for a lot of folks, I mean, like, $6 a month isn't a bad deal. I mean, I'd definitely shoot for that. I mean, especially if I could listen to some of my favorite K-On! Songs and whatnot. Or, get around, like, some of my, like, Love Live, Go up to work and I'll just play Snow Halation all day. So... yeah, I mean, like, I think that's something that's pretty interesting. Of course, we got more of the spring stuff coming up around the corner. Next Saturday, next Saturday is going to be, like, jam-packed because, you've got
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia starting up, like, virtually back-to-back.
Yes!
Finally!
Yeah.
What about Death Note? When is that coming out?
Oh, the American
Ugh.
one?
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yes,
looks
yeah.
like garbage.
Let's whack
Turner.
Esoteric.
Light Turner. Let's talk about Light Turner.
Willem Dafoe.
Somebody
I don't know, let's start from the beginning. For those of you who have been under a rock, basically Netflix licensed out a Death Note live action series. Which, one thought you want to be like, well...
They whitewashed it.
Yeah, it's Netflix, and it's just like, it can't be any worse than Dragon Ball Evolution.
It's pretty bad.
But at the same token, though, this is the same company that just put out Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So, we're like, everybody in this table is kind of a little bit concerned about,
They
Turner.
They did pretty well all the way up until Iron Fist.
Well, okay. With Death Note, at least we know that everyone's Fairly Odd Parents and Death Note fanfics from back in the day are now relevant. Like,
What?
get it? Light
Timmy
Turner?
Turner.
Get it?
Is that his name?
Very nice.
Turner.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh.
Yeah, his name
It's
is
Light
actually
Turner.
Light Turner,
Light Turner.
in this adaptation.
Oh,
That's
really?
the joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
I didn't know
damn
what
it.
the hell
Welcome to the joke.
I had no idea what you guys were talking about. Okay,
man.
so his name is...
They whitewashed the
Yeah,
whole
so his
series.
name is now Turner.
That was
Yes.
good. That was good.
Oh.
That
I
was
will
good.
say, like, on a personal level, I do think having William Dafoe as the Ryuk character is actually...
That's actually good.
Willem.
Yeah, like, that's actually pretty
Willem.
inspired. Although I do have a feeling he probably will just use the opportunity to go into Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Ham levels.
Well, we don't know. We have to give it a chance.
No.
I'll give it a chance, but I won't. My expectations won't be too high.
It's
Well-
kind of one of those deals where, like, at least it's because it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
That's what I was about to say.
it's worth a watch.
Yeah, if you already have Netflix, there's nothing stopping you from just clicking on it for like 30
Even
seconds.
if it's
and like,
bad, it's gonna be fucking hilarious, and I'll still enjoy it either way. Either way, if it turns out good, then great. Turns out bad, great, because I love terrible things.
I think it's something that would be really hard to fuck up unless you're just trying to just Americanize it.
I
'Cause
agree.
The story is
It's
it's not like Dragon Ball Z or like some other show where you have all these supernatural elements. I mean, you've only got one supernatural character, and the rest is basically just real world drama.
Like, yeah,
So
like
it's like, how can you not do it well?
Like, the whole point of
It's
Death
already laid
Note
out for you.
isn't even, like, the whole Shinigami setup or anything
No,
like
it's
that.
not.
It's pretty much the entirety of Death Note is about the mental and psychological conflict between Light and L. As long as you don't fuck that up,
Right.
then you could probably make it work even in an Americanized version.
And having his dad still be a cop, because that was integral to the story.
yeah.
And luckily, we've had several like Netflix original shows that have turned out really well. Like, I mean, like Stranger Things is one.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Agreed.
yeah. So I mean,
I
they,
love the Voltron reboot. They
Oh
did.
yeah,
That's
and they did
fucking
that. A
great.
lot of people like Netflix original shows. So let's give it a chance.
Like I
I
said.
mean, I'm yeah. As Adan says, give it a chance.
like a lot of their original stuff, but Iron Fist was shit.
I've heard mixed reviews.
It was bad. The
Some
fight
people-
sequences were really bad. The dude who plays Danny Rand sounds like Keanu Reeves.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah. Literally.
That's right.
With my iron fist.
That's right.
Watch my hand glow.
I heard it's more like just like Luke Cage but whitewashed, and I was like,
No,
oh,
not even.
No,
No,
close.
no.
Like,
Okay.
Luke Cage
Cage.
was fucking great.
Yeah, Luke Cage has soul. The problem, like a lot of the problem
No, that's what I'm
was
saying.
that
It was said in a negative
There is
light.
he
that
he,
it was,
he
it's
has
Luke
no
Cage
costume
whitewashed.
Oh, at all?
at all.
Really?
He can't really. The guy who plays Danny Rand can't fight. Most of the time, they have to put a wig on their stunt double and shoot it from behind.
My lands.
A lot of the fight scenes are really badly choreographed. Like a guy's blocking before the hand comes up there to hit. You see a lot of stupid shit like that.
Mm.
There's no like
botch
there's,
it.
yeah
Like in
there's
wrestling.
no like main overarching villain. I mean, the hand is kind of.
it's basically
Yikes.
designed to serve as a gigantic cock tease for the Defenders.
If they would have had him come out in the Defenders before doing his own spin-off show, that would have been a hell of a lot better. It's like, oh, he's got to leave Kunlun to go fight the Hand in New York with the Defenders, and then like, oh, I can't go back to Kunlun, I got to fight the Hand. If that would have been way better than going off and doing this shit.
No, yeah, and it's just like, I mean, it's one of those situations also where they got a showrunner who is not connected with the material at all whatsoever. So he just basically just kind of did whatever the fuck he wanted to with the series, and it shows. I mean, if you're gonna do like comic book any adaptations right, you want people who actually give a shit about the source material. You know, and even if you're gonna do your own style, do your own flair for it, by having somebody who actually is intimately familiar with what's going on and also, you know, has love for the source material.
James Gunn.
Yeah, like, you know, with guys like James Gunn, you know, like possibly even the folks making Ghost in the Shell. It's going to shine through, and it's going to at least make the new stuff tolerable, if not good. Whereas with the case of like Iron Fist, it's just like, yeah, it's just trash, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, hopefully, like we'll have our.
I watched it all the way through, but
Man,
most of the
you
time,
watched all of it?
most of the time I'm sitting there like,
yeah,
just
it was a
get
slog.
this over with.
So it just happened to you. You didn't watch it. It just happened to you.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll see how the new Death Note series goes up.
I just laid there and took it.
Like I said,
God.
wow.
I have faith in Death Note. I have faith.
Yeah.
It shouldn't
You
be
gotta
hard to
have
do. It
courage.
really shouldn't be hard
Oh,
to do.
you know, do y'all think there's gonna be more really lazy cosplay now that it comes out?
Yes.
Do you think it's gonna affect it?
I
I
could
don't
be Danny
think it
Rand.
will.
And
He
he
wears
just wore
normal
street
clothes.
clothes the
I
whole
would have worn
time.
normal clothes.
The whole
Yeah,
man.
just
time.
get yourself like a Euro style dragon tattoo. You just be
No,
like,
he doesn't even take his shirt off for the first like 6 episodes, so you don't even see the tattoo for a while.
Oh my god.
yeah. Just get yourself, you know, like a blonde,
No,
like,
he just wore like
afro wig, and
just
you're
wear
good to go.
just wear like normal clothes and
And it's like, yeah, bro.
get a blonde like curly haired wig and
Yeah.
I'll be good.
Yeah, just like, you know, like it just
grow a beard.
Yeah, grow a little bit of a beard, and you know, like that doesn't match with the hair color
Yeah,
at all
yeah,
whatsoever.
exactly. That's
And
all
that's
you
So
gotta
grow
have.
a neck beard.
It's
and
the greatest
That's
fucking
it.
cosplay
That's
ever.
it.
Who are
Yeah.
you? Oh, I'm fucking Danny Rand. Aren't you Iron Fist? No.
On my own interpretation of Danny Rand.
But yeah, just walk up and be like,
Well, the fist isn't glowing for like 6 episodes, so I'm not going to do anything.
But just know that it's coming. It's
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah, it's coming and it's going. So like at this point, like, you know, let's kind of like jump off and let's talk about what everybody's into this week. Jarrod, we'll start with you.
No, don't start with me. I haven't thought of anything yet. Go the other way.
Oh god,
Go
damn
No.
the other way. You.
Yeah.
Ellie, you go.
I ain't gonna shit this week.
it doesn't like, you know, just like what sounds good. I mean, what's like
How's
what's been
work
happening?
going?
Works it alright.
Hey,
You're
Ellie,
not
everybody.
really into what show I watched like religiously every week is a 600-Pound Life.
Oh my! Really?
Not related to nerdy shit at all. So
No,
there you
it
go.
isn't, but
you
still.
asked for
Well, I
this.
mean, like, you
Oh,
did
yeah, we
finish
did.
watching Westworld, though.
Oh, yes, I did. Okay, that is the nerdiest thing that I've done this week. I finished Westworld. For those who don't know what Westworld is, it was the first movie was written and directed. I think it was directed.
Yeah, it was directed by Michael Crichton.
by
We talked a
Michael
little bit
Crichton.
about this last week,
Yeah. For quick recap, for those who don't know who
Everybody's
Michael Crichton
repeating
is,
themselves.
yeah.
That's like the theme of the show this week. It's just like, Adan is the only one that's not repeating himself. In the meantime, we're all like going in circles and shit.
Michael Crichton created Jurassic Park. So, anyways, with Westworld, the ending of it. Wow. Okay, so it has a lot of twists and turns, and usually, like, if you're pretty good at knowing what's gonna happen next in a show, this show you might guess a couple of things, but for the big twist, you will not know what is happening. You'll be like, "What? Oh my god! Oh, there it is!" Like it's such a good show. It's all I can't spoil anything because everything it's so tied in together from the first episode to the last episode. And luckily, they're coming out with a second season. I think next year, if I read that right, in 2018. So stay tuned for that.
Well, that sucks.
It's but I highly recommend watching. It's only 10 episodes. It's an hour long each. You can do it.
Yeah. At least the nice part is that they'll probably stick Westworld up to be like the early year show.
And
Yeah.
then later in
Since
the year,
Game of Thrones will be like later in the year.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yes.
that's coming out in what, July this year?
I think so, yeah, July or August or something like that. But yeah, what have you been into this week, Jason?
Let's see. We started Pathfinder on Wednesday.
Yeah,
That
we
was
did.
fun.
Yeah.
Played some Quest for Glory. What else? Caught up on all my nerdy TV shows for the week. Supergirl, Flash.
Wasn't this week like the musical episode?
Yep. Yeah.
How was that?
I'm not into musicals, so
yeah, I could see how that would impede everything right there.
yeah. But yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how they draw, cause isn't everything like, no, we're in March time, so they still got about a couple more months before they wind everything down for the season.
Yeah, and then I have D&D tomorrow. I'm excited.
Yep, always excited to roll dice.
Yep.
Don, what have you been like kind of digging into lately?
Lately, actually, Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
It's coming out nicely. I'm just watching the show per week because I can only watch dubs. But I like the story. I like the characters. And that's the nerdiest thing, really, that I've been into.
Yeah, you might as well just take your time slowly because Home Slice likes to play Monster Hunter a lot. And yeah, every time a new Monster Hunter comes out, like Hunter x Hunter goes on like hiatus for like 6 months.
But no, he's watching the anime. The anime's finished.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like
It
at
stops
least,
after the Chimera Ant arc.
yeah, I mean, because like there's not much material that dude's written past that arc. Because every time it's like, all right, I'm gonna write a little bit. Oh shit, new Monster Hunter game. Yeah, see you guys in like a year or so. That's
Alright.
kind of what's happened. It actually went on hiatus last year, mainly around the time when like, well, it's called Generations here in the States, but Cross came out in Japan, and now of course Double Cross is out. So yeah, we're not gonna see him for like, probably another year or so.
Oh man, you disappoint me. God damn
Well, you
it.
can still finish
Like
the
I
anime,
said, I
though.
mean, like,
You can
yeah,
still
but
finish
like,
the
just
anime.
take your time slowly through the anime, regarded as one of the most fun things ever, and then lament just like my friend Daria does every time that like fucking dude goes off on a gaming break.
I've already made peace with the fact that there's not going to be any more anime. Like, it's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, like the nice thing is though is
Like
that
High School of the Dead.
Well, what I'm saying, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
What I'm saying is that the
yeah.
manga has been going so slowly. I mean, it took them years upon years to just have enough to make this, current anime that they did in, 2014, I think?
yeah.
Yeah. Because
Well-
the Chimera Ant arc was pretty long, but even working on it for, like, how long? Like, at least, 2 years or so.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
but,
think there's going to be any more anime.
I can say this much at least: if they can finally come out with new fucking Berserk, after like much of a gap between like the Golden Age and then finally the Black Swordsman, there will be a return of the Hunter x Hunter anime proper. Although hopefully they won't do like Berserk did and use janky ass CG.
Berserk has no excuse because there's so much material that's out right now in the manga. They could do a 200 episode anime if they wanted to.
Easily.
Just for whatever reason, they just don't. They just have to relegate it to being either 13 or 24 episodes, and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I thought the movies were a step in the right direction. Where like, oh, okay, we're gonna see if people are interested in the series.
Yeah. Recap.
And then we'll get the anime, and then the anime comes out like, all right, good, it's gonna be manga faithful, and it wasn't. They still cut corners with it, so it's just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Berserk is never gonna get the proper anime treatment that it deserves.
That's kind of unfortunate too.
It is because there's so much. There's so much. There's at least 200 plus chapters that you can make an anime off of.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, it's like your main deal has just been Andromeda though this week for the most part.
Yeah, Andromeda. So going back and talking about that again, because we're all repeating ourselves.
Yes.
I have a conspiracy theory in the works. Everybody, gather up close. Put your ear to the mic. Don't tell anybody about this. So what I'm thinking is that this is for the Mass Effect fans because I'm going to go into deep terminology here. I think that Cerberus is backing the Andromeda Initiative. My base theory on that is that in Mass Effect 2, Cerberus, basically it's a rogue organization that is...
Cover your ears,
Oh,
Jason.
are you going to play it? Like, you're actually planning on playing it?
Yeah,
I'm actually going to play.
Actually,
Really?
let's do it. Jason, just go out of the room.
Yeah.
Go out of the room right now.
He
We'll
pretty
call
much
you back
have to.
in when it's
Yeah,
when
he
we're done.
pretty much have to. Wow.
Just go watch Dave Chappelle.
He made it sound like he wasn't going to play it. I didn't think he was
No.
going to.
Like, well, I should probably explain for everybody that's listening to this with Jason. Not only does he have to play the games in order, he has to play them all through completion, and he really hates spoilers. So, like, anytime we get into this stuff, we have to, like...
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
anyways,
go ahead.
in Mass Effect 2, Shepard goes and joins this organization temporarily called Cerberus, and they are basically a terrorist organization. They're very pro-human. They're not a big fan of any alien anything. They just want humanity to be kings of space and kings of everything that they see, basically. And whenever he joins them and gets his ship from Cerberus, he gets an AI, and it's like a really, really special AI. It's called EDI, or the Advanced Defense Intelligence. As the game goes on, some stuff happens, and eventually that AI becomes unshackled due to an event that happens in the series. It becomes unshackled, it becomes self-aware, and it can act and think on its own. And even then, in the third game, it gets its own body and becomes a party member. So you have that. Now, given what's happened in the series with the Quarians and the Geth, AI is basically illegal. Advanced intelligence is you're not supposed to have it. You get fined for it. You get put to jail for it. I mean, it's a big no-no in the Mass Effect series. And so now you have this terrorist organization that's created basically the ultimate AI that eventually becomes self-aware. Well, now here in Andromeda, as part of the initiative, the Pathfinder, or the leader of mostly the fire teams that the Andromeda Initiative uses, has access to an AI. And the thing that is really, really striking if you play the other games is that this AI is already unshackled. It's already self-aware. It already thinks for itself. It already acts on its own. But the only person that knows that is the Pathfinder himself, i.e. the main character, because the AI can speak directly to him. Now, how would this AI have come to creation? Because the Systems Alliance would not make it because it's illegal. So you already know that the humans wouldn't make it, and no other race really has the technology to create one. So that's why I'm thinking this could be a brother to EDI from Mass Effect 2 and 3, the Enhanced Defense Intelligence. If that's so, then you're basically telling me that you have a human terrorist organization that is funding the Andromeda Initiative. Now, for those that have played the series, it's kind of a huge thing, but it hasn't really panned out yet, again, because I'm still very early on into the game. So if it does happen, I'll come back and talk about it. But for now, yeah, that's my thing. That's my conspiracy theory.
And at this point, like, I'm going to be kind of brief, because my thing this week has been, it's safe. It's very safe. My thing this week has been basically, wrapping up on Zelda Breath of the Wild. At this point, I've gotten through all the Divine Beasts. I've gotten my special weapon, and yeah, I'm ready to take on the big bag, the Calamity Ganon. Once I complete that, expect a write-up on the Nevi Double site about my full thoughts on the game, kind of my review of sorts. Because I'm at that point in the game where it's basically just about going through, like, if I want to do anything, just collecting stuff since it's the open world. But yeah, I'm at the point where I can beat the game at any time. So I'll probably concentrate on that, probably like tomorrow.
Side quests.
What's your current hours count?
Ooh, like it hasn't climbed up much since like we last talked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I've slaughtered through all the divine beasts, and since then it's just basically been about just discovering stuff, going through, exploring more shrines.
But I mean, like 20, 30, 40, 50. You know, how long have you spent?
Probably approaching 40.
Okay.
The nice thing about Breath of the Wild is that it's not one of those games where you have to spend an eternity on.
Mm-hmm.
I probably could have cut that time down in half if I wanted to, just through efficiency means and whatnot. But I've been digging
Where's
around
the
and just
fun in that?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly. You know, like I've been traveling around. You know, just
It's like
been
playing
walking.
Skyrim. You just
Exactly.
run around and just
Yeah, I'm
like,
just gonna
hey,
go
look
and
at
do
this
nothing
butterfly. Ooh.
You're saying I'm just gonna do the main story only, and that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, like
Who
if
does
you
that?
do the main story only, you could probably beat the game in like within 20 hours, easy.
Okay.
But, you know, again, with me, like, I've just been exploring shit and, you know, been having a lot of fun doing it. Paragliding, like, hell, just today alone, I discovered a village out of nowhere that I didn't even think of beforehand, just by exploring along the southern edges of Hyrule. So, yeah, like, it's one of those games where, like, you can have a lot of fun with it, you know. So, like I said, it's like I'm going to probably beat it here pretty shortly. Expect a write-up on the Diabolik site about it. And we'll go from there.
I forgot one of the nerdy things I did this week was I painted my first minis.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
He did at that.
I've never painted minis before. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. I do want to kind of, before we kind of wrap up for the night, I do want to take the time to like make a little mini announcement of things that we're going to be planning on. Segue. Some things that we're going to be doing in the near future, and one of those is that we're going to be adding a kind of another little podcast to our lineup, which is basically going to be where we're going to start recording our Pathfinder sessions. And it's going to be a little bit of a different setup. You're going to hear me, you're going to hear Jason, you're going to hear the delivery man, and you're going to hear Hans. We miss you, Hans! And, of course...
Gotta make that money.
I don't miss him.
So
Rude.
cold. And, of course, like with our DM of, you know, the Lord Weiss.
And our friend Christian.
Yeah, and our palsy Christian.
Who is playing a humanoid frog character.
With explosions!
Lots of
Yeah.
explosions.
But,
Man, I can't fucking hang out with you guys on that. 'Cause that's going on.
It's fun.
I know.
We didn't
I
play
know.
much, but before when we start,
I wouldn't hang out with myself either. If I
when we start the recordings, we'll do like a quick recap of what we played last time, and then because we only started the game this week, so
yeah, it'll be like something that we're gonna run like once a month, and you know, it's gonna be a much longer listen than like our Nevicasts, but you know, we think you guys will get a lot out of it, especially with all of us together. Like we usually combust in lots of hilarious ways, especially with my character.
yeah, we start off like Lord of the Rings and turn into Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Pretty much. So on that note, let's go ahead and Inquisition ourselves out of here.
Inquisition?
Yes.
No one expects it.
nobody actually.
But yeah,
Blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah.
see,
Blah,
now I'm
blah.
like, yeah, like,
now you're going on Murloc over there.
actually, no, like, go even further and be like the Putty Patrol, like,
Yes.
and now we've completed the repeating of ourselves.
That's
while
right.
We're all sitting here recording, and Jarrod is taking a photo of us.
Yep.
So, everybody, may I say your goodbyes real quick. Jarrod,
Mataraishu!
Adan,
Ciao, bambinos.
Rum,
Later.
Ellie,
Combo
Bye,
breaker.
bitch.
and finally from your boy, Fearless Billy Nuwanda.
Your boy! Your boy!
Your boy! Oh shit, what up?
Oh shit, what up?
What up?
I just want to say, RPM, get in gear! And thank you guys for listening to us for this week. And seek us out on the Diabolik group. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on WordPress. You can even find us and subscribe to us on Google Play and iTunes.
And Twitter.
And
YouTube.
Twitter.
YouTube.
And YouTube,
And
yeah.
the
Don't we
YouTube.
got a Tumblr now?
We're getting that set up.
All right, cool.
And, yeah, like, there are multiple ways to find us, seek out our content. We've got Let's Plays, we've got podcasts, we've got artwork, we've got short stories, all sorts of nice little stuff.
Got a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're
A lot
busy
of
people.
shit.
Yeah.
Busy people.
Thank you guys, though, and y'all have yourselves a good night.
Bye, Felicia.